What up? What up? Welcome to my thoughts. Today, joining me is Joseph and Sean. We got a couple topics for you guys today. First one being, has style of black men evolved to something good or not? Joseph, I'll let you go first.
Before we even jump into the topics, that beat was fire. I was over here toe tapping. I was like, play that a little longer. But for this topic, to be honest, I think it has for the better. To be honest, we see a lot more careful attention from a lot of um celebrities, black male celebrities, about fitted
Mhm.
suits, about style. They're actually paying stylists to keep them dressed, and you see that translate for what the kids are wearing. Um,
Right.
um,
What do you think? I guess
yeah,
another question or another, has it gotten uh, too designer, like to the point where you you
I don't
have
think
the
so.
culture as a whole thinking that the only way you can really, I guess, address a certain type of way is that you have to have designer on.
No, I think that's constant. I think that's gonna be constant because we were rocking Sean John. We were rocking, like the fashion stylists back then. The Carl Kanai, the Jabot jeans. We we had that mentality back in our day. And so now that we look back at these kids enjoying the styles now, eh, yeah, it's not really a big deal.
Sean?
Um, I don't know. I think it all depends on the culture and where you're from, right? I think like I see people who from well, I want to say from up north, but I see people in certain cultures. I'm still seeing the saggy pants and the skinny jeans, and you're like over 40, and I'm like, bro, come on now, like you're over 40. But then I see some other men, they dress kind of grown. They dress like some like I think it depends on the, like I said, the setting and the culture, because I've seen it all. I've seen some people dress up nice, the suits. I've seen people wear that casual dress down a little bit. Like I said, then I see the Bone Thugs and Harmony still out there, still especially like what I see now, I see a lot of Arrested Development. I think that's part of it too, right? You have that where you're in your 50s and 60s, but you're still acting like in your 30s and 40s. And you think, I see older men, because that was the era they came from, right? The LL Cool J one leg up, one leg down thing, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I still see that to this day in older men, because that was that era. I'm like, okay, that was cool then, but now you're 60 is not so cool right now. You should be wearing the sweatpants and the hoodie. Come on and join me on this side of the fence over here. But some
Okay.
people let that go.
So I want
Okay.
to come back to that
Okay.
last part of your not to say argument, but what you said.
Okay.
I think that yes, to a certain degree, it has evolved and it has gotten better. I think the difference, Joseph, when you say that from when we were coming up, we had those brands that you listed, is that those brands were within the price realm of, let's say, most Americans, being that you had the Carl Kanai, you had the Rockaway, you had the Sean John, you had the Tommy Hilfiger, you had the Polo that were attainable to most of our parents. Not to say all, but most of our parents. And
Okay.
now with social media and movies, rap, so on and so forth, you have it to where it's Balenciaga, it's Louis Vuitton, it's
Mhm.
Chanel, it's LV, all of those brands, to where you have the culture chasing it and they're willing to do certain things to obtain it. Um, and it's at a different price point to where a Tommy Hilfiger, let's say, shirt may cost you, let's say, $50, when a Gucci shirt will cost you 800.
Well, back in the day, you can go to a Burlington Coat Factory and get yourself a Tommy. So
Right, and that's what I mean, to
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I
and
see your point in that. Yeah.
that's
You still
the
can
that's
get a Tommy. You still get a silk a Tommy at Burlington sometimes. Yeah, it's better. It might
right.
not
Yeah.
be good quality Tommy Hilfiger, but
Yeah.
Right. They'll have definitely have certain things. Sean, where you were going, do you feel, because I've commented on the YouTube video about this, and there was also another thread on Instagram that I saw where this white guy was asked by another white guy, is there a time where you should stop wearing Jordan?
No,
That
no,
was
no,
No.
speaking.
no, no. I don't think if that's
No,
if you like Jordans, I mean, they're sneakers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you like how they look, I don't see nothing. Like I said, but like I said, I go back to what I said. There's certain styles. Like I said, 60 years old with skinny jeans sagging, yeah, still not cool, bro. You
right.
know. But yeah, the Jordans thing, like I said, and I can say that because I'm not a Jordans man, right? But I
Bro,
don't know people for wearing them. I think they look nice. It's just I refuse to pay that much for
Yeah.
shit.
bro,
Yeah.
because I also saw, like I said, with another YouTube video with a black guy today that I was watching for a whole different reason. And he came in and was like, yeah, basically y'all need to stop wearing these Jordans. Y'all look crazy after a certain age and so on and so forth. And of course, just as most people know, I'm an avid Jordan
I have the
wearer.
Jordans.
And even in commenting on his post and commenting on the Instagram post with the guy, uh, I feel that when black men make that argument, it makes them look stupid. I feel that when white men at times ask that question, they're doing it strategically. Reason why I say I think it makes black men look stupid is because when have you ever heard or seen a white man tell another white man that he's too old to wear this type of shoe?
Yeah, the Armani or whatever, whatnot.
Right. I've never seen it. I've never heard a guy say, hey, you shouldn't be wearing those New Balances over there. You're 50. You shouldn't be
There's a
wearing those Nike Shocks. You're 55.
yeah. There's
I've
a
never
level of proximity that comes in that because I'm like none of us are really exposed to white culture like that. We're not really involved in that. So to say that we've never seen that conversation could go on, but
Well, I say
to
that
have it so openly is that what you're trying to say?
right. Well, I'm saying
Okay.
in 41 years and in being in different spaces and always having worked in a diverse workspace. Even now, I'm the minority. And there's a lot of older white men that I work with, a lot of them, or some that are around my age, as it was when I worked for Louis I Consulting, as it was for when I was in the Navy in certain spaces, and whether it's younger white men that are in their 30s, white men that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, white men on TV, movies. My point is, up to this point, on any of those spaces or in my reality, I have yet to hear that conversation of them saying to one another, hey, you're too old to be wearing this particular brand of tennis shoe. The only time that I've heard it is when it's between black men, or like I said on Instagram, that video of the one white guy asking the other white guy, does he think that it's a time that men should stop wearing Jordans? And the thing that kind of made me feel some type of way, why is there a time that you should stop wearing Jordans, but there isn't a time that you should stop wearing Nikes? Because Nike is the parent company to Jordan.
Right.
So why didn't he ask him, was there a time that you should stop wearing Nikes?
Because white men do not have to represent anything else but themselves. Like this is throughout history, a white man can be a white man and go anywhere he wants to and represent himself. Whereas for us, we represent our culture, we represent our families, we represent everything else. So we have to walk through with the gaze of respectability. Like we need to wear certain things, we need to act a certain way because that's how the United States taught us how to be. So do I want that privilege of walking anywhere and not have to worry about representing anybody? Absolutely. I want that white man privilege, but
Right, but
that's not
I'm
gonna
not even
happen.
sure that it is quote unquote white man privilege versus, I think, like I said, because I've heard that argument a lot more, majority, if not all, from black men to other black men, as far as why are we still wearing Jordans at a certain age? And I'm like, So I can wear Reeboks, I can wear Pumas, I can wear Nikes, I can wear Asics, I can wear these other shoes that I see a lot of people since I moved in this area. They're like walking shoes. I think it has like an OC or something like that. Like I see a lot of people wearing them because, you know, a lot of people, especially if you're in downtown DC where everybody walks all the time, it's a real popular brand down here. And I never hear that. Hey, after you reach a certain age, you shouldn't wear this brand. So as a black man, why is it that the brand that's represented by the black man, it should have an age limit, but all these other ones, hey, you can wear these to perpetuity. That's the issue I have with it. Now, I do feel like Sean said at a certain age, certain clothing you should modify to be like, you know what, I ain't, you know, over here with these young boys. So my skinny jeans shouldn't be below my butt cheeks. That shouldn't be something. But it's a whole nother thing for me to say, hey, you know, you're past a certain age, you shouldn't wear this shoe. Now, if you want to wear these Nikes over here, that's fine. But if you're going to put on Jordans, you need to grow up. Sir, they're both tennis shoes. Except one brand, Nike, we know is associated with a white guy. Versus the other brand who makes the Jordan is associated with a black guy. So let's be real when we sit here and have this conversation with each other. Are we really looking at the nuances of that conversation? But as you guys stated, to each their own. I'm still gonna rock mine. And I also can move over here and throw on a suit, throw on a sweater, throw on some jeans, Chelsea boots, and whatever else I need to do. I just don't like well, you should stop wearing this because who still now granted, I've heard women also say, hey, if you're past a certain age, I don't think you should wear tennis shoes. Right. And I'm like, you think I'm going to go walk in some loafers? You want me to throw in some penny loafers to go take a job? What you want me to do?
You got to be clean while you're running, bro.
with the long white socks on? No, sir. No, sir.
No, I think like you said, I agree. I think it's just some people, they have their preference and they try to, you know, install it. Because some people might argue and say, well, why I can't wear my skinny jeans below my butt? You know, and you know, and I guess it just comes down to the person, right? What do you like to do? Like I said, there's certain cultures. Like I said, some people in certain cultures or certain, you know, time frames, they'll say, you know, I'm past that now. I don't want to wear those things. And some people, like I said, I know people. I've seen a lot of people from New York. They still kind of dress like that.
But I do agree with you too, to where I'll say when I look at those guys, even when I was younger, it always seemed like that the packaging was the same for those guys. Like it was always the guys that seemed like they missed their prime and they were trying to hold on to something versus when you look at the older men, they were dressing a certain type of way. They carried themselves a certain type of way. They talked a certain type of way. The whole thing, and you're like, what did your growth get stunted at? Mentally, emotionally, what did your growth get stunted at that at 40, 50, you're still trying to talk like, look like, sound like the little young dudes that, and you know, 20 years younger than you. And you may not even be, you know, realizing that's how you're coming off. So I think it's definitely one of those things where after a certain age, you should definitely be growing and maturing. And, you know, once again, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. And also in your look that you convey for yourself. I think everybody should do them, but also try and mature. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What does retirement look like for you? Was the other topic that was threw up. Does anybody want to go first?
I mean, I can go first, I guess. And I guess there's two for me. I guess it'll be two phases of retirement, right? So, you know, of course, I have my military retirement, which was great. It was wonderful, but that was at 43, and so that I wasn't done. You know, I still want to do more things. One, because if I want to still do things, I still need money, right? And even though retirement and disability is great, and I can live off of that, I want to still do more. So, and I would be bored. So that's why I'm working now. For me personally, retirement. At 55. I'm trying to be done. I'm trying to not work for anybody. Be on the golf course 3 times a week. And traveling. That's what
Yeah.
retirement would look like for me, per se. I don't want to have to. I want to be able to, like my mom. Like she was my greatest. My mother comes and spends half of the year with me because she don't gotta go home to do nothing. She gotta go back to no job. She got no baby to look after. She can be like, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna come spend 6 months with you." Okay, mama, come on. I'm ready for you.
That's dope.
Yeah, so and she went, let's see, this is 24. So she went about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And she met the age requirement, and you had to have so many years on board. You had to be like 10 years, and then like you had to be age 62, whatever. And she was like, sold. I'm out.
Gotcha.
What I don't want is, for me, is you see people who can afford to retire, right?
Right.
I've known, 2 people, great women who are smart, can do great things, but they can't afford to retire because they got bills to pay, whatever. I don't want to be like that. So to me, when you're planning retirement, you can't wait till you're 60 and trying to plan your retirement, right? You got to start way before that, because like my grandfather said it, you don't retire with bills. You're supposed to retire without bills. And he did it. My grandfather retired in his 50s, I want to say, and was living his best life. Stopped traveling at a certain age and just made it to 95. And I feel that part of that was because he wasn't so stressed a long time ago. So I think that
Right.
retirement piece, what it looks like, you got to plan early. You got to plan early and let it flow into it, so that when you come into retirement age, would it be because you choose to go? No one should make you go home, or you be like, okay, your health now has stopped you because you cannot physically go on anymore, and now you're forced to stay when you're struggling. So that's, to me,
Right.
that's what retirement should look like.
Okay.
For me, I'm done at 50. I'm done. I'm 43.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. I think I'm 43. You get lost in days, but yeah, 43. My daughter will be in college.
Yeah.
I've done my 30 years of federal service.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving the country. I'm leaving the country. I don't see America within the next 20 years becoming an affordable place to retire. Even some of the places down south, like do I want to go to Mississippi? Do I want to go to Alabama or places like that, or should I go to like Panama, Belize,
Right.
Costa Rica?
Costa Rica is
Places
nice.
that provide a better healthcare system, that provides fresher fruits, fresh air, fresh vegetables.
Right.
Like not the contaminants in the water, not the political mess that we're dealt with and that we're inundated with on a daily basis.
Right.
Obviously, there are pros and cons about that. Like we're all Americanized. We're like as myself, we're gonna miss America, but
Yeah.
like if that is an option, for a lot of young Black men, go.
Right.
See what's out there. Explore the world, and not on the passport bro shit. Oh, my bad. Not on the passport bro mess, but go out there and learn the cultures. See the world, see where you can actually settle down and spend your life, or become a nomad, because you've worked 50 years, you have yourself a nice chunk of change for retirement, and what, it's going to be gone in 10 years in America.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
Also, no more Social Security.
They're actively trying to get rid of that.
Yep.
And
Social Security.
I can guarantee that once Social Security goes, they're going to start looking at cutting out military retirement. They're going to start cutting out the veteran disability. They're
Right.
going to start getting rid of that.
Yeah, but the retirement's already gone. You have to pay into retirement like any other job now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they started that 2018, I believe, or around there.
Yeah.
You have to pay. It's like how your TSP, how we have
Yeah.
that. That's your retirement. Now you have to pay into it like any other job. You don't get it for free. And to me, that was a big takeaway from it. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
really? Like, And like you said, the same thing I've heard that talks about the disability going away. They're gonna grandfather some people, but after the hey, yeah, if you came in after this time, no, you're not no more disability free. You can come to the VA for benefits, and we'll take care of you, but you don't get a compensation anymore.
You don't get compensation for it.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Your compensation will be you will get
Yep.
health care and taken care of, but we're not going to compensate you, financially.
I just
Right.
read that they're getting rid of 10,000 jobs in the VA right now. You know,
wow.
they're like the United States is not really going to be dependable for folks who are serving the country. So
Right.
get out there and look.
Or for me, I don't know if 50 would be my cutoff date. It's probably
Yeah.
60 to 65, somewhere around there.
Ooh, my knees and back felt that.
Well, I guess for me too, depending on what I'm doing. So let's say if I am doing something to where I can work remotely and do for the most part what I was doing when I was working with Louis Eye Consulting,
Yeah.
it's no work really. Especially if I'm doing it remotely and I can just get up, come in my office down the hall, get me some coffee, and go do this. Why not? Why not get the bag? Unless, like you said, I get to the point where I'm like, you know what? Even though this is easy, I still could be catching some more Z's. And of course, by that time, the retirement stuff should be right. The disability stuff, if buying other rental properties, which has been our goal for a couple of years now. The goal is to have a couple of those in place. So, God willing, it could be 50, 55. So we'll see. But I actually have said something to D about what you just said as far as possibly leaving the country. If not just to visit, to actually look at something to where even if one graduates, depending on what's going on, hey, let's go and try to live abroad somewhere just to see. Now, I wouldn't want to be like some of these folks on these TV shows and move over and we are librarians and they asking us, hey, what's your monthly expense? $800. No. No, we're not trying to do that. But I do hear what you're saying, because for some of these rents and mortgages, it's like, yo, how are a lot of y'all affording this? Like, how are y'all affording these rents in New York? Like, what are y'all doing to afford these rents? And you living in a 700 something square foot house, and you paying what I'm paying for a 3,200 square foot house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cost of living is different there, but which is a minor, a moderate factor. But still, but you're right. It's my concern is like Joy said, it's the where are we going? Like interest rates. I've never in all my years I've never seen interest rates this high on houses and all these other things, and credit cards are going up, and like you said, it's going to be an affordable place. Like I said, I agree, because Costa Rica has been on my radar a little bit, because you could live like a king over there. For what we make over here, my retirement disability alone will cover that. And so, but I look at it though as a lot of people don't have that option. I know people who are retiring have done 30 years in the government, and their check is going to be like $2,800.
Yep.
I'm saying, I'm like, you gave all that time.
Yep.
And that's all you getting for retirement, bro? Like what? But I think, that's where the government is kind of.
You mean 28 a month?
Yes.
And see, I don't think that that's bad though. And the reason why I say I don't think that that's bad, considering that the majority of the population isn't even getting that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I get it, but what I'm saying is, think about it, $2,800, right now, right? Unless you got a house that you've had for a long time, that's pretty much gonna be your mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So what you gonna do with the other? What you gonna live off the? No, you know what I'm saying. So that's my fear, like you were saying, the where we're going. To me, you should live off your retirement, but that's not the way it's set up. The system isn't set up like that for you to live off your retirement, even though they kind of want you to, because like I said, your interest rates are going up, because I have, like I said, me, like I don't I'm scared to move. I would like to get a different house, but I'm scared to move because I know I'm not gonna pay what I'm paying now. I'm gonna pay more for less.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pay more for less, and then I'm gonna have all these homeowner fees and all of the stuff I got to deal with. When I could just sit right here, be comfortable. Let me fix this up a little bit or chill where I'm at. But like I said, that's my scare. Is like, when it's time to move, at some point, what am I going? I'm gonna get mollywopped to where, I'm gonna have to keep working past 55 to do the things I want to do, and
Well, you might, depending on the situation, you
Right.
might
Right.
be able to assume somebody's loan. Like, for instance, the house that we own in Chesapeake, we have that at 2.5. Now,
Yeah.
I forget the stipulations under it, but I know there is a thing to where, let's say somebody had $500,000 or whatever, $600,000 cash.
Mhm.
I want to say they can assume the loan, thus keeping that 2.5. But I have to go back because I know
And
people
do what?
do it.
What, just pay it, like the money to pay off the house cash and then just pay it off slowly, or you mean?
No, to where you pay me and
Oh.
I turn over the rights to the house to you, and that way, like I said, I forget exactly how it's done.
Oh, okay.
And
It's
instead of, like you said,
similar.
you
It's
having
kinda
to go get a new loan at, what is it, 6-7% or whatever right now, you can keep it at 2.5.
Oh,
But
that's
I said
cool.
I forget the ins and out of that.
Yeah, it's like subletting an apartment, just a little different, like, just a little
Right, to a certain degree. But yeah,
But
I definitely agree.
it's not just the housing market. It's the price of food, the price of
Oh, yeah.
healthcare,
Cars.
everything. Everything's on the rise, and it's going to be too expensive to even just live.
Right.
Also, there's so much going on in terms of what they put in the food here in America. It's like some of those chemicals and stuff that you're not going to see in other countries. Like Sam, I came back from living in Germany for a few
Right.
years, and just the simple cost of water, a bottle of water you can get for 50 cents, a big ass bottle for 50 cents. That's
In
$4 or
Germany.
$5 here.
Right, not here.
Yeah, it's not cheap. And it's water. It's not laced with chemicals for for what it is. You go grab an apple, you can pick the apple up, you can wash it off and eat it, but you don't know what's in this apple here in America. And it doesn't taste like it doesn't taste. There's no vibrancy in terms of the fruits and vegetables that you eat. I've noticed when I came back to the States. Everything's muted. There's so much into it to try to preserve it to last on the shelf so much longer that
Right.
doesn't even taste good. So
Right.
yeah, and all that stuff is causing all of us, Black men, specifically, a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
Because you was meant to eat from the motherland, from Mother Nature.
Absolutely.
That's true. Okay, moving forward, because I feel this is going to be a little longer one.
Okay.
Do you believe that married couples should go to counseling whether the relationship is in a good space or bad? I would say yeah. I think whenever you can do a health checkup, just like you would do for your body, you should definitely do it for your marriage, just to see, where things are going, or if you guys have had, an issue, big or small, that you haven't really been able to work out, and it kind of just keeps popping up here and there from time to time. I think in either whether it's bad or good, like I said, you're in a good space. I don't think that it's anything wrong with getting a checkup. Like I said, even for your body, at times, to where, hey, let me make sure that I'm good to go. And like I said, with certain things, you may need or desire an outside voice for a certain conversation or issue that you guys may be having. And I've heard some dudes like, yeah, nah, I don't want that. We'll figure it out. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I don't mind bringing in someone who's definitely had more experience than me and happy. Like one of the pastors that we talked about, he's been married, so it seemed like happily for a lot longer than I have and gives sound advice. And I call them frequently, actually, just to have conversations. They're not all about, you know, relationship and couples. Sometimes we discuss sports and other stuff. But I value his opinion on certain things. So I definitely reach out and ask him, even if it's something that just has to do with me as a man and as a husband and as a father sometimes, because I know he also has 2 boys. So, you know, to reach out for the advice of an older man who, like I said, also is doing his thing in a good way when it comes to being a husband, a father, a provider, a man of God, so on and so forth. So I definitely think it's important to have an outside voice at times, because I think you can get in a space where you feel that you're right about something, and then you get an outside voice and it's like, no, you're wrong, actually. And I think at times men will get to that point, and then our relationship, our marriage will fall to pieces just to figure that out afterwards when it's too late. And I think that's a shame in a lot of areas, to where you didn't get that notion to go get help or to go talk to somebody until she said that she wanted to leave. And sometimes it's that way with women. So I think for those couples, it's most definitely important to go get that checkup to say, okay, are we good? Are we handling our issues, or are we just, you know, putting them off for another day? And then in 6 months, a year, it comes back up. We talk about it, argue about it, 6 months to a year. And before you know it, it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years in some cases. And me and you still arguing about something that we've been arguing about 15 years ago, because we never resolved it. We just shelve it, bring it back out when it's convenient, shelve it, bring it back out when it's convenient. And, you know, that's not healthy, and it doesn't work. It doesn't show that you guys are growing like you should be. So I would definitely say, yeah, going to a counselor and getting a checkup is definitely good, whether you're in great terms or things are kind of going sour. Andre, your thoughts?
Oh, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. We aren't the same person that we married, you know, 5 years from when we said I do. You
Right.
know, we're all growing, we're all developing into more sophisticated adults. You know, our mindset change in very ways.
Right.
Counseling helps. Counseling will give us the ability to communicate that
Right.
to one another. Um, and like you said, it provides another voice. You know, yeah, I have nothing against what you said. That's well stated.
Yeah, yeah. Same, took the words out of my mouth. Like I said, that checkup piece is definitely important, right? And Corporal, what Andre said as well. We change over the years, especially when it comes to, you go in a typical marriage. You know, you get married. You know, you have kids. You know, and then at some point, you know, hopefully you get to see grandkids, right? You know, some people get to see great grandkids. But as the years go by, we change. We change, and I'm not saying evolve, but we change as who we are. Because what I see a lot of couples done when I used to do counseling here and there is sometimes they, especially when they have kids, they become all about the kid, right? And one
Right.
of the biggest advice I give people when they have kids is say, hey man, still take the time to get to know each other, right? Still take the time to learn each other every day, because you guys were a married couple before this kid came along,
Right.
right? Because some people's like, oh, I got a kid now, it's all about the kids. And to me, I'd be like, I tell them, I say, be careful with that,
That's
because
the kids.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be, because you said without your significant other, your spouse, your loved one, right? You wouldn't have these kids. And
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
if you want to, depends on how deep you want to get biblical, whatever. The spouse is supposed to come first. You know what I'm saying? Not the kids. You
Right.
know, so I mean, because I've seen kids ruin relationships a lot because different parenting styles or something. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's where the counseling comes into play, because it helps you to remember who we were before we got married, especially when you have marriages that took a while before you have kids. You married 4 or 5 years without a kid, and now your lifestyle has changed because, oh man, we got to pack a bag when we go out now. We couldn't just up and and dip out and go to this spot over here like we used to. Baby, let's get brunch. Honey, the baby in there crying because they just woke up. We got to change these diapers real quick. Oh, my bad. So yeah, I think that counts, like you said, is important because that checkup, right? That outside person. Like, I mean, I don't know if you remember Samuel, what was it, a few months back when he was like, this guy didn't even know his wife was, I know she was unhappy, but like, was having affairs behind, what I'm saying? It was a podcast or something he was watching, I think he was telling me about. And you look confused, but it'll come to you. Where the where he asked her, like, how did I feel? She's like, nah, you handle business. We was communicating and everything. I just wanted to be out here and do this, right? He had no clue she was, because he saw a text or something. And so like I never wanted that to happen to me, where I'm thinking we good, and then when I find out you out here living this double life, we 20 years down the road, and I'm like, yo, so what part was the truth? You know what I'm saying? What part was the truth throughout this one? Because my whole world's blown up, right? Versus we can go to counseling. And sometimes people don't say stuff in counseling. I get it, but to me, it makes the outside part like, hey, how you doing? Let's check in, because it may be some things on your brain that, hey, we doing so I don't want to bring this up. Let me, that third person will bring it out to where you bring it like, hey, I don't like it that you chew so loud in bed and it's annoying to me. Oh, okay. I didn't know that all these years, like, yeah, I want to chop you in the side of your throat, when you eating the cereal before we go to bed, right? And we can have that conversation like, okay, babe, I didn't know that. Or do you know you snore? No, I didn't know I snore. Yeah, for 20 years you've been snoring. It's been annoying, but I've been dealing with it. So I think it's I think little things over time fester. I want to go back to where it's let's stop before it festers, right? Because communication is a big part of a marriage. Everybody knows that. You can say sex and finances is up there too, but communication is key, because all that will fall apart if you don't know how to communicate with your significant other. So you have to learn how to talk. I can't talk to you the same way when we got married at whatever age, 5 years and 10 years from now, because you're a different person. So I can't communicate the same way I did before. I got to learn that new way, that new bay. How do you like to be communicated to now? Like, I don't like it when you talk to me this kind of way. I never liked it, but now I'm over it. So I think that counts. Peace out.
It gives us a venue to openly discuss our needs in a safer environment. Yeah.
Okay. Saying that, do you feel that after you leave counseling, that those discussions in counseling should then be taken out of counseling, and you should feel some type of way, or vice versa, about what was discussed in counseling, if that makes any sense? Now, I understand depending on what it is, but
it depends on the emotional intelligence of the person and what the topic is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like if it's you're out here, like on the DL and she just found out in counseling, and she's asking you in the car, are you the one bending it over? That's a whole separate.
Are you pitching or catching, homie?
Yeah. but something like small things, like you said, smacking in the bed. You'd be like, that's something you can have safely in the car ride home. Yeah.
Without that. I'm kind of the opposite. When we have our session and the counseling session, I don't want to discuss it when we get in the car. Let's leave it over there.
Why not?
So you got counseling talk about you gonna make some lasagna for dinner?
Yeah, because I guess just for me as a person, I can compartmentalize.
Yeah.
So when if we're going to counseling because we don't communicate efficiently or effectively or hardly at all, I'm going to say what I'm going to say in counseling. I expect for you to say what you're going to say in counseling. And when we leave and say our dues and get in the car, what are we doing for dinner? What you trying to eat? Yeah, that's the other thing.
Does your counselor give you homework?
Right.
Sometimes, yeah. But I necessarily don't want to start that homework as soon as we get in the car, because to me,
that's valid. That's valid.
Yeah, that's valid. I
It
just
wouldn't be
if
genuine.
he was scared me for
And depending on what was said in counseling, you or me probably still feel a certain type of way about something. So I'm okay with the quiet ride home.
But are you coming back to it at some point though, before outside
Yeah.
of counseling? Or are you
Yeah.
saying I said okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay, then that's fine.
Or I don't want it to be to where we were just in counseling for an hour or two. You didn't say whatever, and then we get in the car. Now you're talking.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
I agree.
What are we doing?
Right. You was just with the lady or the guy, and you had nothing to say,
Mhm.
and now you
Right.
laying into me.
Right.
But I do agree with that because we call it the safe. You gotta have a safe space, and I tell people I recommend get that safe space. That you can have those conversations, those hard conversations. Yeah, shouldn't be a car. It should be somewhere. So I always recommend somewhere in the home, or if,
My
if, if
arms
the
are going like that quick in the car.
or if the home is too much, have a mutual place outside that you guys can come to, and you can leave it there and say, hey, but you have those conversations there, because when you come out of that box or that safe space, then you can have homework to do, because you got to fix the problem, right? It's one thing to state the problem,
Yes.
but fix it, then it's just problems. It's just a problem that I see it over there, but I'm not going to deal with it, right? But you have that safe that you come in and have that conversation. But yeah, I respect the quiet car ride home, because you got to detox, unravel some of that, and be whatever and stuff like that. Because in an argument, sometimes it's okay to walk away from an argument and come back, because you got to cool
Yes.
off, get your thoughts together, cool off, come back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like that back in the day. I had to learn this just from just learning. But back in the day, like, nah, we're gonna talk about it now, and they're like, nah, I need my space. I'm like, no, right now. You know what I'm saying? We don't walk away from our stuff or whatever. And I had to learn that, I read Gottman, listen to his a lot of his stuff a lot. And he said it, like, it's okay to walk away and come back. And I'll be like, okay, you can go in the other room if you got to go to Target and do some shopping, whatever, but you coming back though. It's not like, okay, I'm out.
Right.
And I see you in a few days. No.
One of the things that I like to do is to walk away and come back. And then I will let her know, well, back then was, hey, I want to preserve the love I have for you. And right now I'm angry, and I don't want that to affect how I feel about you. If you could please give me just a few hours, I just need to process what we're discussing, so I can come back to you, and I can express what I need to say in a positive manner, so that we can both move on.
Yeah.
And also it puts me in a space where I can actually listen to what you have to say and be receptive of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because if you're mad, you're hearing crap. Are you hearing this? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. But because most of the time they want you to hear what they have to say, and they want you to be receptive of it, and that's
right.
And that's it. And if you don't express that, they just think, okay, well, you're just gonna leave so you can come back and talk to me. That they're not gonna care. So,
but like I said, you have to be provided that space as well. Because if that person doesn't give you that space, then you just that person just like, no, talk to me, not talk to me. Like I was that person at one point.
Yeah.
And I can see it, and especially when the words come out, and she's demolishing me because she's talking everything because she's protecting herself to get me away, and I'm like, and the words, because the words hurt, right? The words stay. What I'm saying, like, she bringing out all the things that hurt your feelings. What I'm saying, and now you like now you all in your feelings when she was telling you, bro, I told you to get off my face.
Right.
Yep. She's talking about your mama now.
Right. And then my mama.
Yeah, exactly. She's talking your mama bald headed.
Exactly. That's like
she has alopecia.
It's like, my mama got a condition.
But yeah, I do agree with you, Sean, when you said that. I think a lot of couples, at times, I don't think we give each other enough grace, and then I don't think we really think about that. If I married you at 25 and we're 45 now, you're probably not the same person. But then you also hear people say, well, you're not the man or woman I married. They probably shouldn't be, the man and woman you married. Now, you guys should have grown together.
Right.
But to say that if you married your high school sweetheart right out of high school and you're 30 now, that you think that he or she is going to be the same person at 18 is not really realistic. In certain cases, as we were discussing with the older guys and, in the dressing, they very well could be that same person. And they just haven't matured in 18 years. But if all things go well, they're maturing. Certain political stances are probably going to change. Certain ways that they view, money, relationships, family, all of those intangibles, their favorite artists are going to change. All of that stuff is going to change. If you guys, like you said, if you didn't have kids then and you have kids now, that's going to change. All of those things change. So we should definitely be, trying to grow with each other in that regard. And even in an aspect of, like you said, when the kids come into the relationship, I've always been a proponent, like you said, if we ain't on a good space, then the kids, not to say the kids don't matter, but if we're not together and in a good space, then us not being in a good space is going to negatively affect the kids anyway.
Yeah.
That's
But
just what
also,
it's going to be.
You don't want your kids to see that kind of environment growing up.
Right.
You don't want them to see that kind of because it carries with them.
Right.
how many baggages all of us, all black men, exclusively, carry on because we see how our fathers and our uncles act and how they treated women in the past.
Right.
All of us had our whole phases because we knew our uncles did it.
See, I don't know if men have hoe phases. I think that's a thing for a woman. Like, I can't say I had a hoe phase. Can I say that I was out in these streets? But being that I'm not a woman, I won't say I had a hoe phase. I was maybe out in the streets, but
so you're renaming it.
That's a female thing.
So it's just the packaging is your concern with, because there was a time where we were all out there in these streets, and we can call it the hoe phase, we can call it in these streets, we can call it whatever, but we all were, during that time. And we were in it because we saw the men in our lives do that. Like we were told secrets. We were told how to be able to navigate through these streets properly or improperly, depending on who that guy was.
Yeah. And I think opportunity. If depending on the type of guy you were, you had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
So definitely, like you said, I think you have all of those different intangibles that definitely play a part into that. And like you said, having to kind of mature and say, okay, what direction or path or lasting result do I really want from this? And then either you take this road or you take that road.
Or could just be tired. Being in the streets is stressful.
Or that too. And I think to a certain degree, it was a combination of all of that. It gets tiring. It's work.
It's tiring
to be successful.
Well, what? And and it's gonna always happen. But the reason I say is because what really hurts me is when you see people 25, 30 years getting divorced. I'm like, 25, 30 years. That's longer than you've been alive. That's more time married than you have been unmarried. And then you throw that all away. And some things, are unforgivable. I get it and whatever. But I'm like, when I hear like, oh, we just couldn't get along. Well, bro, 35 years, you couldn't figure it out. But and I guess every story is different. I'm not, you don't know the specifics or whatever, but I'm like, how do you just let 35 years go? Because I'd be like, yo, we got 35 years. We done got stuff together. We probably got grandkids and stuff. And, we don't raise these kids. Like, there ain't nothing we can do to work this out. But some people are stubborn, like you said. But I think it goes back to, like we said, right? I know one couple I talked to, she was mad about something. She's like, oh, you don't pay attention to me. She told him, you don't pay attention to me. And so she had an affair. And she was still mad about, like you said, Sam, she was still mad about an affair that happened, years ago. Like, kids were little. Kids are all grown now. And you mad about an affair over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, you don't talk to me. and so that was in her head. But the biggest thing for her was, she's like, you don't talk to me. You don't have a communication with me or whatever. And I felt like when I had this opportunity, you didn't support me and you didn't talk to me about it. And he like, well, you never told me that. And she's like, oh, because I was like, what, did you tell him? And she's like, nah, I just was just mad about it. I'm like, well, how are you expecting to fix it? But once again, didn't think that was something she could do. Right? That's something she can come out her mouth and say, hey, I was upset about this. Like, babe, when you didn't support me, I felt some type of way. And her saying it, she felt stupid for having it for her, because she's like, yo, I could have just had this conversation with you. But I see things like that happen in relationships all the time, where that one little thing that festers over, it's one little thing, and then now this is the tip of scale. Boop, there it is. Now I'm gonna go do this.
Right.
Or I just walk away and say, I'm out. I can't deal with this anymore. And be like, why are you so mad at me? Oh, you never did this and this and this. Well, babe, we 20 years deep. You could have told me this 10 years ago. So
yeah. I've seen a lot of people get married because of the dream of marriage.
Yeah.
And without having the realistic view of what that entails. And
Right.
And when they finally do decide to divorce, it's because I really just don't like this person.
Yeah, you're right.
And that could be a reason. After you see being married for 35 years and you look over, you're like, I really just don't like this person. And you see them living a better, more fulfilled life without that person around. So, that is a possibility. That is a big possibility. They stay because of the kids, because now everything's so damn expensive that they can't leave, and finally they have an opportunity to leave. And then, like, I got my money, I'm out. So.
Right. Because I wonder if some of it too is thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. And I think in certain relationships, like you said, if depending on the reasons why we came into this, you definitely can find, happiness on the outside of that. But then some of it, I also wonder if it could have been saved, or were you guys unwilling to do the work necessary to change things? Because once again, date nights are definitely something that you have to consistently do and keep up, and communication. What I also feel like too, though, at times I think when men don't say certain stuff, it's because they don't feel they have the space a lot of times to say certain stuff and to be open and honest with certain stuff. So therefore, certain things get held in, and as men, the majority of us, we just carry it and walk on. And the majority of us, not all of us, the majority of us would carry and walk on to the grave. We're not getting a divorce because you don't listen to me like that. Versus you will, like Sean said, have that woman say, oh, you don't listen to me. And that may be one of the really only things. And I'm not saying that's good, but after 35 years, I want a divorce. Versus that man and be like, yeah, I don't like it, but I ain't going nowhere. It's 35 years. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die with you not listening to me. It's just gonna be what it is at this point. I'm 55. What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, it's like that may not be good, because let's say if you don't know, but God got plans for you to live to 80, you may meet somebody else, and for that 30 years, have, like I think Joe said, a wonderful, glorious relationship that you didn't have over the last 30, 40 years in your previous relationship. But I think a lot of times, just as men, though, I think with things such as that, we kind of just eat. More so for ourselves, for the family, the whole combination. It's like, all right, I kind of don't need you to listen to me all the time, because I'm gonna go to my man cave, or I'm gonna go fishing, whatever it is that thing is that I do, and we eat it. Not saying that the women have to eat it, but then, like you said, Sean, at what point, after all of those years, the family, the love y'all was supposed to have grow, do I simply do not come to you and have a discussion, and to reiterate, if not for him, for myself, that I did in fact discuss this and say this to you, versus we getting divorced And now I'm like, you know what? I ain't never told him that. So how you mad at me for X amount of time, and then you ain't even said nothing to me because you feeling I'm supposed to know. I'm supposed to have my I forget what was my Cleo hat on, and I'm supposed to read your mind and know that this is how you feel. No, that's not effective communication. Tell me. And vice versa. I should be able to come to you, be vulnerable with you, and say, hey, like you said earlier, Sean, about you made me feel some type of way when we were arguing, and you said this, and this. That hurt my feelings. That made me feel some type of way.
Mhm.
And it should go both ways for both parties if, in fact, we're trying to have a healthy relationship and continue it on. It shouldn't be to where I can't be vulnerable with you and you can't be vulnerable with me. That's not going to work. Now, we could stay in a relationship, but it wouldn't be a healthy one.
A healthy one, yeah. Because we're going through the motions, you know, and because I mean, every married couple I've talked to that's been married for years and years, they'll tell you, decades, they'll tell you, you're gonna have good and bad years. You know, you're gonna have the years no matter
Like
how
stock
much you
exchange.
huh?
I said it's like the stock exchange.
Yeah, you're gonna have good and bad years, but you got to be able to push through the bad years and get through and communicate because things are gonna happen. Whether it be, let's say, you start going to school and you're busy, and you know things, the dynamics gonna change. Especially you see that the empty nesters, right? The kids leave. It was all about the kids. Now you look back, bro. I don't even know you because we ain't even been hanging out because we've been about these kids.
And I think that's the move. And granted, my numbers could definitely be off. I think that's a lot of the relationships because, like you said, those couples, wrong, right, and different, made those 18, 20, 25 years about the kids.
Right.
And then boom, kids gone. Susan, I don't know who you are at 55 because we had Lil Jon at 25, and our sole purpose was to make sure Lil Jon became a decent human being. So me and you were kind of just, you know, his helpers or whatever, but we never took the time to do date nights. We just had sex, you know, out of the habit of having sex, but it wasn't us making the intention to make love or to have some intimacy. It was just getting it in when we could while he was asleep.
She said, I'm tired of this rollover loving. I need you to blow my back out, nigga, and you're not doing it. Now I'm 55, and I'm looking at this 25-year-old because I need that, and you can't do that. Yeah.
Ice that leg up. Get this side work. We got work in the morning.
Right, but no, and you're right. Yes, it's about them kids, and so I just see that a lot, and I'd be like, you know, I know a lot of people in the military went through that a lot. They would always say, you know, there was the one that was always gone, and now they're home now, and their family doesn't really know them because they've been gone, and instead of incorporating themselves back in and trying to do that, they just keep doing what they're doing, and then everything falls apart. You know, and it's like, oh, so I think that's important.
So yeah, counseling is important.
Yeah, I think so.
Agreed. All right, guys. Well, it's definitely been a joy having you on. Hopefully, we can do some more episodes and topics. Any parting words before we log off here?
Nah, keep your head up, champ. Love what you do. Look, doing the great things. Let's keep doing it.
Appreciate it. Like I said, definitely.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, of course. Always a pleasure to see you as well.
Yeah.
Don't let it be years till we see each other again.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves, black men. Go to the doctor. Follow their advice.
Roger that.
Go work out. Don't become a fat slob.
Roger
you can't put it down with the beer belly.
Whoa.
Just sit it on top. Just sit it on top.
I mean,
that's
all that pushing you do is counterintuitive.
That's how you secure it. You just sit it on top. Sean, am I lying?
Give her.
Nah, he ain't lying. I can still get it in, but it needs to go.
Yeah. Give her a solid foundation to work with. It can't be too soft.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, y'all.
All right, bro.
Y'all be.